Okay, go the same. Spell your first and last name and your title.
Coy Cheshire, C-O-Y-E. Last name Cheshire, C-H-E-S-H-I-R-E, like the cat. Assistant Professor, School of Information, UC Berkeley.
Okay, so if you just say your name and assistant professor, it'd be great, all in one sentence. Looking at Jocelyn.
Coy Cheshire, Assistant Professor.
With the school at the end of it.
Coy Cheshire, Assistant Professor, UC Berkeley. School of Information? You want that?
Yeah, okay, let's
Yeah,
do
do
it
it again.
My name is, or my name is Troy Desher, I'm a professor.
My name is Coy Cheshire, Assistant Professor at the UC Berkeley School of Information.
Perfect.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so do you have an elevator pitch for how you describe the iSchool to people who have never heard of it before?
I don't have, we all have a version of the elevator pitch.
Okay.
I don't have the best elevator pitch.
Well, give it your best shot. Tell us what the School of Information is.
We are a multi- and interdisciplinary program that combines everything from computer science to political science to sociology to social psychology to law and a range of other disciplinary kind of fields, all trying to apply their different sort of perspective on the same kinds of problems, the key problems of information. And that includes information technology, information use, but broadly speaking, yeah, that's it.
Great. Tell us a little bit more about what you teach. Tell us again what you teach and then describe it.
I teach quantitative methods, which is a set of methods for how people can do things like surveys and experimental research to really apply scientific methodology to the understanding of information problems. So this is, I try to keep in mind the fact that we have a diverse group of students who come to the program. So a lot of people don't have strong statistical backgrounds, some people do. So it tries to appeal to lots of those different kinds of folks and allow them to use these methods so that they can really apply them to those problems. I also teach computer-mediated communication, which is a very broad course because we're covering all different kinds of communication technologies and how people use them, especially online today.
Do you think, is there like an ideal candidate for the iSchool? Like, who would be your ideal student to teach?
My ideal student would be somebody who has an enormous number of questions and isn't satisfied with any particular disciplinary approach. My ideal student is somebody who does not come from any, I'm trying to think of a way to say that doesn't just sort of fumble over my words. My ideal student is somebody who doesn't really appeal to, or I can't think of how I can say this.
Good.
Now I'm just trying to think of a way to say it in a way that isn't so wordy.
Okay.
My ideal student would be somebody who doesn't have an affinity for any particular discipline, but has really interesting questions about information and wants to find out more, wants to learn and cross boundaries between the different disciplines to try to answer those questions. So maybe there's somebody with a computer science background, or maybe there's somebody who was more to the humanities or the social sciences. Maybe they were drawn to philosophy. All of those are welcome here because what we do is we don't concentrate on any one particular solution or issue around information. We bring a bunch of those things together, just all these different voices, but we don't just let everybody speak and just sort of say everything goes. Instead, we try to apply those, merge them together, synthesize those different kinds of perspectives so that we can actually address problems. Not just ask questions, but really address them.
Perfect. So
I couldn't find it, so it took me a while to find a version that I would be happy with.
So a little bit more on that theme, like how do you think collaboration plays into going to school, iSchool? Is that an important aspect of it?
Collaboration is essential to the iSchool experience. Our students must work together, both with faculty and with each other. I mean, our program is very much designed to have students working together from the very beginning, collaborating in teams, working in classroom activities together. But this really culminates in the final project in their second year, where students are working together, sometimes in groups of 3, 4 students, on a big project that addresses a central issue that's of great importance to them. And many of these go on to be projects that extend far beyond what they do here at the iSchool. Without collaboration, that would not be possible.
That was actually going to be my next question. Tell me, can you think of an example of a real-life application of a project that started at the iSchool and then went on to become something in real life kind of thing?
Yes. Sorry, I was trying to think of which project would make a good... So one of the projects that I worked with, or no, I don't want to mention myself. So one example project that is especially interesting was one called iNaturalist, which was a project that started here at the iSchool with a group of students who really wanted to create a web presence for people who were naturalists, who were people who wanted to, go out and catalog different kinds of creatures and be able to talk about them and share this information and to make this a community kind of thing, a public good where lots of people could benefit from it. This really took on after they left the iSchool, and they found lots of interest from others who not only really wanted this service, but really needed people who had those unique sets of skills, not just an interest in the technology or an ability to code and to create a website, but who loved and wanted to be naturalists themselves. So it was that combination of having this interest, but also knowing computer science, knowing something about the social sciences, being able to blend that together. And in fact, that particular project combined at least 3 courses that I know of where they use that project in those courses here at the program. So it's something that really carries them through over their 2-year experience.
Amazing, that's awesome. I think I heard about that one.
Yeah, I think, was that Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate and there's a group, Klein, I can't think of her first name. Jess, yes. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, outside of the amazing program, what is the experience like for students to be at Berkeley and in Berkeley, the environment?
Berkeley is the perfect environment for anybody who wants to get exposure to lots of different perspectives, lots of different fields and areas. Not just as, again, we were saying, oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I was going to reference something we said earlier, but that may not be in there, so that can't really do that. UC Berkeley is a fantastic place for people to come and to work if they really want to interact with lots of different folks in lots of different departments. This is a very open and sharing school. And the time that I've been here, both faculty and students find that we can walk in, interact with colleagues all over campus. Students often take courses in the different programs around campus. So it's not just an experience of the iSchool being this collaborative environment with lots of different disciplines, or representation of those disciplines, but the campus itself is that way, in a way that other peer institutions can't quite match.
Okay.
Not to name any.
Yeah, I think
Real quick, without using the S word.
Yeah, right.
You spent a lot of time at Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
2 very different atmospheres, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to say the S word. That's fine. If you want to compare it to other places you've been.
Yeah, I have too many collaborators there who would kill me if I...
Right, that's what I figured. You don't want to burn any bridges. Yeah. So, talk to me about the difference. I mean, you came from a very traditional, very sort of East Coast mentality there to something that's very West Coast. Talk about the differences. What's it, when people are looking at schools, it usually comes down to a handful, Berkeley being one of them. You went through the process. I mean, how do you see Berkeley compared to some of the more traditionals?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of what I want to say that I'd want to say. I have lots of opinions. What would be a good thing to riff on? Because I can think of,
We can always edit. Right.
Yeah. So the beauty of Berkeley is that it's a very laid-back environment, all right? It's a fantastic place to live. It's a fantastic, set of townships in the surrounding area. It's a fantastic school. But it's also incredibly competitive and incredibly rigorous. And so it's that unique combination, I think, of people being able to come to an environment where they can be themselves, they can do anything they want, and that sounds like something that you would want to say at any college or school. But we mean it here. You really can do just about whatever you want, but you have to also be ready to engage with some very serious academic workload and be prepared to, spend a lot of time learning and experiencing things you've never, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever, cut that out.
Yeah.
That was great.
That's so good.
If I could just put a period at the end of some of these sentences.
Here now.
I know, we all do.
I'm good. Do you guys have anything else?
Well, or just to expand on that a little bit, we keep coming back to, of course, a big plus is where you are as far as Bay Area and Silicon Valley. So just if there's anything else just about, we keep thinking the connections and maybe not saying the word connection necessarily, but that you're in this great environment where things are really happening.
Yeah.
In terms of postgraduate.
Yeah, what students go on to do, and the professors that are here,
Yeah.
or just the.
You can talk about your colleagues too.
Yeah, we're in the hub.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,